Welcome back, friends and fellow meat enthusiasts. We're going to make our own pastrami. We've had this going, brining already for 4 days. By tomorrow it'll be 5 days, and we're going to go ahead and smoke it at that point. It's a brine we whipped up ourselves. I'll leave that in the description. It's mainly garlic, brown sugar, a tiny bit of curing salt, and some kosher salt. And then we're also going to try taking an already brined corned beef, desalinating it by letting it rinse overnight, changing the water out regularly, trying to calm down some of that salt, throwing that on the smoker as well, and we're going to compare it. So I did something a little different because I know everybody takes a brisket and throws that in brine. So here's our brine. Not only did we take a brisket, it smells really good, by the way, and brined it. And there's also dry mustard, mustard seed, black pepper. We also, just for science, see what happens when we do it to a chuck roast too. Just gonna open that up. Gotta say, my brine smells better. And I'm just gonna give this a rinse before I put it in our water. Gave it a good initial rinse. Now I'm just gonna let it soak. So we've let the corned beef soak overnight. Had a complete 5-day run on our brine here with the brisket and the chuck roast. We're gonna go ahead and throw it on the smoker. Pastrami sounds pretty good right now. This one's the chuck roast, our experiment. We're gonna see how it went. Let's start by cutting it right in half, get a good look at it. Let's see. Smells good. The brine's a little more mild than I expected. The meat itself is very good. Tastes like a tender chuck roast with a little bit of flavoring, but the brine didn't come through quite as much as I had hoped. Let's move on to the store-bought desalinated corned beef. Like before, we can go right through the middle. Looks a little bit more like what you're used to. It's got more fat than the part of the chuck roast I cut. Seems like it's going to be more tender. Let's see how it came out. Even though we soaked this for so long, the brine comes through more. It's actually very good. That's going to be delicious. That came out better than I thought. This was my least hopeful of expectations. Turned out really nice. Let's move on to our brisket that we had in our brine. That looks good. Let's see what it's about. Oh, you see the juice pouring out of there? That just looks amazing. I could feel it. It feels amazing. Hands down, that's the way to go. That is phenomenal. Tiniest little bite, so much flavor. That's gonna make an epic sandwich. I would say is your hands down winner is the brisket we brined ourselves, followed by the store-bought corned beef. It surprises me. I had no expectations. Chuck roast, I would say, don't waste your time. I would say cooking a chuck roast, how you cook a chuck roast is what it's meant for. This is still good. It's still going to get eaten, but there's a reason brisket is kind of the standard. You could also use top round if you want to go a little leaner, but out of today, yeah, definitely doing your own brisket and brine's the way to go. It's the way we got our meat this consistency. When we put it on the smoker, we started on a lower temperature. A lot of times, traditionally, pastrami is cold smoked. Main difference between pastrami and corned beef, pastrami is smoked, corned beef is not. When we got it up to about 150, that's when we wrapped it, turned up the heat a little bit to finish it, get it to 200. That's when you pull it off and let it rest for a few hours. We're gonna go ahead and make a pastrami sandwich. Start with some pumpernickel rye. You could use regular rye, marble rye, regular pumpernickel, whatever you like. This one I'm just gonna use brown mustard, keep it simple. Do our meat next. And we're gonna do a little mix of all of it. because we can. Take some Swiss cheese. Cover that. I'm just going to add a little bit of pickles to this one. And that's going to be it. Keep it simple. And we're going to throw it on the panini press here. Got our hot pastrami ready. Take that off. Get our Reuben on there. Oh, looks good. Oh yes. This looks pretty amazing. Made one kind of traditional, made one more like a Reuben with the sauerkraut and that Thousand Island. I'm sure they're both gonna be great. If you guys like this video, got any enjoyment out of this, learned anything, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and as always, thanks a lot for watching.